entrenched within a seemingly white industry, such as tea, is astounding. And I was fortunate enough to run into Matthias Payton, who is, you know, what the tea is about, as, Tina Marie would say. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
I am great. I am great. They call me the freestyle king. I don't write anything down. So we are going to get started. You have this phenomenal brand, Jasper and Gold, and everyone, y'all don't know this, but I was looking when I came back from my trip in California for tea or some type of chocolate drink that I could just have on hand for another series I'm doing. And I ran into you just, as you were packing up, you and your father, right?
Yeah.
As y'all were packing up in the New Hope Market here in like Chapel Hill, Hillsborough, Durham, kind of very crazy area. I'm not good with directions, but it's somewhere out there. And I was like, I have to see what he is about because why not, right? So tell us about Jasper and Gold and who you are.
So, hey everybody. Thank you again for being here. Thank you for allowing me to be on your show and featuring me. I have to say that first. I definitely want to give my gratitude. But my name is Matthias, for y'all who doesn't know, and Jasper and Gold is an herbal infusion company. So what we do, we take medicinal herbs like tea or other tea-like herbs and combine them with culinary ingredients to add a more flavorful approach to the beverage. We do that because we want to promote health, and we also want to promote all natural, organic products that actually taste good that people can enjoy on a daily basis. So that way, anybody can have something that they can drink that won't cause them any harms or problems or anything like that. The only ingredients that are in my product is the ones that you see. So it's a blend of maybe 5 ingredients or so.
Well, what about you? How did you become a tea man? Tell us more about Matthias, the man, the myth, the teologist.
Okay, so somewhat of a long story, but obviously I can give you this somewhat short version of it. So I've always been into natural and organic and health growing up, or at least from high school on. And when I was about 22, maybe 5, 6 years ago, I was looking for more products and food options and that sort of thing that was natural, that when I actually looked at the back of the ingredients, I knew exactly what was in my food. Just during that time, there was like a whole nutrition thing going on, like kind of vibe that I had. And my best friend at the time, he said, well, you should drink more tea since you're into, all natural and organic and all that stuff. So I said, okay, for sure. And then I started doing my research on finding actual locations here in Durham at the time that actually serve tea, not just like packs of tea that they got from somewhere else, not something that they just bought and resold, something that was more specialty, something that was nicely crafted, and there wasn't any. At the time, there was no tea locations in Durham. The first one was a few, maybe 2 or 3 years ago that came about. But during that time, so I couldn't find any. The places that were selling them, like certain coffee shops, it was just like they just had tea that they bought from somewhere and they reserved it. But during that time, I didn't like the flavor that I was getting, which now I learned that there was a number of reasons why. But back then, I didn't like the way it tasted. So I said, I'm going to just go home and make my own stuff. Wow. And this is at the time, I didn't have the knowledge that I have about tea now. So I'll mention that in a second. So at the time, I said, I'm going to just go home. I'm going to order tea. And I'm going to just rip, like it was little tea bags, and I just ripped the tea bags open. I didn't have none of the tea stuff. It was just a pot, hot water, and I put the herbs in.
You really did like Thanos, so I'm going to do this myself. I see it. This is amazing.
My first blend that I actually made as a tea was like a cinnamon hibiscus, not cinnamon hibiscus, was a oolong. It was a cinnamon oolong blend. So I just got some oolong, and I put ginger in it and cinnamon and nutmeg and cloves and stuff like that. And that was my thing at the time. I didn't know at the time what I was doing or what I was forming or creating. I just knew that I wanted to have something that I thought tasted good that also was good for me. But since then, more people started to ask me, hey, create this thing for me for this health problem or for this flavor or for whatever. Some of these people were friends, some were business owners, some were just, family members, and they were the ones who pushed me and encouraged me to make it a business.
Mm.
They knew that I wanted to have my own business already. Like
Mm-hmm.
that was already a set thing since I was a child. I knew I was going to be a business owner.
Okay.
Maybe not in those words, but I said, when I grow up, I want to be in charge of whatever. And they said, you should do tea as your business. And at the time, I didn't believe. I was like, no, I don't know if there's a market for this. I don't know, blah, 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 all these things. But after some time of people saying, like, you really should, like, consider, like, apparently they saw some type of knack for it.
Mm-hmm.
And then I finally gave in and did it and put it in more perspective, as in made it a point to actually do the research for it. So getting into the research side of how I became more knowledgeable about teas and herbs and spices, I started doing research on each ingredient. So, like, for example, somebody might say, hey, I need something for common cold or whatever. I would go on pretty much Google and say, what herbs help with common cold or what herbs help with this? And then it would give me a list of herbs, and then I would go back and look at how to properly extract the flavor, what the benefits were, all that stuff. So it took about 3 years of me learning how to properly blend, learning why the market wasn't, why I felt like the market wasn't doing good as far as tea, why people felt like tea was bitter, because it goes into, there's not a lot of knowledge in the tea market on how to properly brew, how to properly extract the flavor. So when I said I didn't like the flavor, some of it was because it wasn't brewed properly, or some of it's just the packaging that is in causes you not to be able to brew it properly, do the whole thing. So it was pretty much 3 years of somewhat on and off research on how to brew, ingredients, herbs, the Western style of teas, the whole thing. And then I got to the point of now modernizing it somewhat to where you and I, or people who don't have the time and convenience to be able to do the modern or the Western style for tea, can still have quality and hopefully enjoy it. So that's
wow. Well, quality and enjoying is right, because if I didn't enjoy it, I wouldn't be here. So that is amazing. So you're self-taught in your herbalism and your tea preparation. That is phenomenal. So with that being said, how did you, as a Black man, how was you received into the industry? Like, was there any, like, riffraff? Were there any people who were talking to you a certain type of way? And I reference that because there's times where in most communities that are white driven, even though tea is an Asian custom, but regardless, or a more of an Asian custom, I should say. When it's a white ran industry or an area, it's sometimes difficult for Black people to come in without being talked down to. So have you experienced any of that?
I would say that I have, but I think it was in a way that's not, in a way that's a bit different than what some have told me, or friends and just different ones in our Black community have experienced, because like you said, even though it's a little bit of comes from an Asian culture for the most part, here I find that it's not well known. Like, there's not many experts in the tea market.
Okay.
There are a lot of people. Well, most people are in the, if we're going to say white industry, they might be focusing on coffee. So when it comes to tea, it's almost like I don't know anything about that, and they don't know where it could go. So because of that, I get somewhat respect and like teach me, train me, that sort of thing. But it's almost like a toss up, because we're also here in Durham. We're also here in areas where I can pick and choose the markets and the people that I want to be around.
Very true.
And more people where the people that would accept and be open to the idea. But I want to say when I first got started, it was a black woman that gave me the push in her shop that
Okay.
allowed me to meet people, that allowed me to get the foundation that I needed to really start and branch out to different cultures.
Mm-hmm.
So the start was a black owned business, um, which is not, it was a black owned vegan business at the time. Uh,
Mm.
so yeah, but to a bit to answer somewhat of your question, I definitely have had people talk down to me.
Mm.
I definitely have people act as if I don't exactly know what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
But of course, they don't say it straightforward. You have
Well,
to be
no, it's
able to
never
read
that. It's
people.
always condescendingness.
Right. Or some type of, they want to offer extra help or extra advice because they don't know how far I've come. So it's been a little bit of stuff like that. Or you should try doing this market, or there's this market, or you should do your stuff at a black owned, or like the black farmers market because you're black, so it makes sense, stuff like that.
Mm.
Um, but
Things that you would have already thought of.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah, things like that. But tea allows me to grasp culture, all types of culture around the world. Asians, South America, Africa, Europe, everybody generally drinks
They
tea.
do. They do.
So for my business model, I bring tea from all around the world to be able to support, just people coming together. So to have people say, "Oh, you should go and try this market or do this specific thing, that specific thing," it's a bit limiting.
Mm.
I want to say, yes, is where I've started, and I appreciate it. But there's lots of, I give people more credit because lots of people are open to having a product that they can drink that tastes good in the tea world. Um, some cultures I feel like some cultures may sometimes steer away from my product because they look down on me putting tea in the tea bag or different things of that nature.
Okay.
But it's always different spaces, I would guess, that I tap into where there's a little bit of pushback. But just as much as there's pushback, I find cultures and organizations that support and stand behind me and push me. So
Mm. I believe that. And I love everything you said because I have been through some of the same where people have tried to give me suggestions that they feel was at my level or whatever. And it didn't always work out. And I see, hopefully they don't edit this part out. We'll see. But I see some of you in the comments who are already going to be like angry and they're going to be like, well, those people are just trying to help and you're taking it too sensitive. But to those of you watching this in the future, that ain't it. Obviously, we would know to go to a black freaking farmer's market. It's us. It's who we are. So obviously, that would be the place to go. And why even then put me in a box and try to segregate me, which is what some of them feel like we do when we name ourselves as blackness. But it is what it is. What were you going to say?
I was going to add to help with those who might have those thoughts
Because they need some help.
being sensitive, me being sensitive, stuff like that.
Mm.
Some people, I'm not going to say, I want to say it's our frame of thinking. Sometimes we feel like we're just trying to help
Mm-hmm.
and I understand you're trying to help from your point of view, but I just want to say like broaden your thinking, broaden your horizons, because literally I make the product in a way so anybody and everybody can consume it and drink it.
That was really nice of what you said, and I'm gonna do like Kanye West and interrupt you because the thing I'm gonna say to you is this: being helpful is helpful, but being truly helpful is the best thing you can be. So there's a good white woman who introduced me to a woman who grows a woman and a husband and wife team in Chapel Hill that grow their own tea plants. They grow their own camellias here, not that far from here. She introduced me to them because she said her name is Bree Arthur, and she said, "I'm going to help you meet these people." And she used her whiteness not to push me into a black corner, but to put me in a bunch of white spaces. And because of that, I'm going to tell you about them after all of this because they're a beautiful tea shop. They are doing much of what you're doing where they have the loose leaf, they have things in bags. It's mainly just tea and a couple of other things, so it's not as fancy, I'll say, as your teas. I do enjoy their teas, the Camellia Tea Forest in Chapel Hill. They're beautiful, but it's a very beautiful place. Real quick history: it was started by an Asian family in the late '70s, early '80s. They basically brought all these various tea plants around, and they have like all these different genetics of camellias. Some are variegated tea leaves, some are not. Some have different things, and they do all their processing on site. I think at least they're trying to, because they don't want to send it away anymore. So they teach how to do all of that stuff, and I'm going to connect you there. But that is because someone didn't say, "Well, Derek, let me show you all the black people who make tea." Because there is another woman who grows hemp, and her name is C, Farmer C of Green Heifer Farms, and I'm going to connect you with her too. And prayerfully, she'll be a guest soon in the future. Wink, wink. But using the whiteness to help us is in my opinion, just that you getting your contacts, your Rolodex, blowing it off, dusting it off, whatever it takes, and then you putting me to people who make sense. You're not going to frame me with the racist, but with the people that make sense. So that's where I'm gonna go there. I don't want. There's times where I do give apologetics, and I know people are just trying to help. But with this type of stuff, Rogan, and I already know I've already upset people with the first episode from what I'm hearing. So I'm not worried anymore. I seen what make them cheer. I'm not worried about what makes them boo. So we're gonna keep going. We're gonna keep going. So I see you got some flavors here in front of us, and they look phenomenal. Again, I love the black cocoa because that one there, I would have never thought of chocolate as a tea. And I know that there's a chocolate tea shop or a chocolate shop in Raleigh, and they do a tea. They have their own because they process their own chocolate there.
Oh, nice.
I've never had it, but because I was like, oh, that sounds disgusting. But again, for some reason, yours caught my eye. And I was like, well, you know what? Hey, let me try this. And this was like better than any Swiss Miss or any of that typical traditional hot cocoa I could have. And I have tried it with milk at your beckoning. So it is delicious. And you shipped it to people, right? You can ship it. I've been telling people you have. So I've been hoping you really did. I never asked. I've been telling all types of people. I'm like, he ships. I'm sure of it. So y'all be sure to check this out in the commentary, in the comments, or the description. There's going to be all his information, so y'all buy this tea. But what do we have here? I'm ready.
So I didn't bring black cocoa.
It's okay. I got that at home.
But I do have. I wanted to present my holiday flavor.
Ooh, holiday flavor. Yep, so, presentation.
So that one is called Berry Holiday. It does have chocolate in there.
I love that.
So I have to, put that because you're the chocolate botanist.
I am the chocolate botanist. I didn't even introduce myself in the beginning. They know who I am. This is great.
So Berry Holiday is my holiday infusion. It has elderberry, hibiscus, so those fruity flavors. And then to make the holiday seasoning or the holiday taste, it has cocoa, cinnamon, as well as allspice. And I honestly just created that blend this summer. The idea and the concept behind that was bringing people together for the holidays, sharing a gift with one another, and sitting down and being able to enjoy tea together. That was kind of the thought behind it, as well as like some type of chocolate with something fruity was the idea and concept.
I love it.
But then somehow I ended up with this blend where it's not heavily chocolatey.
It's just like a little kick.
A little bit of kick or a little bit of the actual taste of the chocolate with the fruity taste of the hibiscus and the elderberry. And of course, it's loaded with health benefits like antioxidants. Chocolate and hibiscus is good for your blood.
Oh, yes, blood.
And cinnamon is good for inflammation, and it just knocks out a whole lot of different things. So I hope y'all enjoyed that one. That is a limited edition. So that one will sell probably going into January. And then after that, I might...
You're going to put it back in the vault like Disney
put
do.
It back in
Some
other flavors that I have. is Elderberry Pie.
Ooh, tell them about this one because I ain't tried this one yet. But y'all need to go ahead and get you some of this elderberry pie.
So this is also another limited edition blend. I created this to be a fall infusion.
Okay, okay.
So around this time, we all love pumpkin spice. We all love all that stuff. You know, it becomes really popular.
It does, it does.
But
Somebody
I
loves it.
found that pumpkin spice isn't actually pumpkin. It's really just a blend of different spices. So cinnamon, allspice, one, ginger, nutmeg, cloves. Those are generally the spices you might find in pumpkin seasoning. So the in this blend is specifically allspice, ginger, nutmeg, and cloves. That blend with the elderberry creates this dessert-like taste.
Oh, yes.
So you can kind of imagine some type of berry pie filled with the fall seasonings.
Okay, okay, okay.
That's the kind of taste that you would get for this. It does have, it's really aromatic. It has a really nice fall smell to it as well. And of course, loaded with antioxidants because of the elderberry is good for building your immune system.
Yes, immune system.
All of the good stuff there. So it's just good and clearing up your sinuses and everything. So it's really good for just like building you up during these cold times.
It's very cold. You're right about that. And that is also limited edition. I'm seeing now.
Yeah, this one is also.
Oh, I'm glad I bought that one. Y'all need to go ahead.
This one, I normally stop selling this after November. So you got a couple of weeks if you want to have this for Thanksgiving or the rest of the holidays this month. And then lastly, this one I just had extra on me. It's called Royal Sweet Tea. So Royal Sweet Tea is a blend between Royal Black Tea or English breakfast, you might say, which is the main ingredient or flavor for sweet tea. We're down here in the South, so we love our sweet tea.
We do.
But lots of people are concerned about the sugar and all of that stuff. And honestly, somewhat of the quality once you start to drink real sweet tea. But black tea and then rooibos, which is the red bush or red tea that you might find in Africa that has a nice flavorful approach. And then, of course, you can't have sweet tea without a little bit of lemon juice. So I added lemon peel. So this blend is essentially a blend for you to be able to make sweet tea without having tons of sugar. You can it has more flavor in it. You can put less sugar and then add your honey. And you'll be perfectly fine.
Let me see that bag there in my hands. This is great. I'm going to buy this one too. I'm going to go ahead and buy that one from you. Thank you.
And then also, if you have it, so that's if you get it cold. If you do it hot, for those of y'all who like your morning hot black tea, that's what that would be is for as well. Benefits for that is good for your blood. Like black tea is really good for your blood. It's good for like flushing you out after eating, some different types of food that might not be the best for you. So yeah, blood circulation, and all of that good stuff. And it has a little bit of lemon peel in there.
I am loving that lemon peel. So this is great. If y'all need y'all a sip of something black in the morning, you don't have nobody beside you, you can go ahead and use this tea. You can go ahead and use this tea. Bingo, bongo, Bob's your uncle. So, with that being said, there was something you did say earlier. I was like, dang, I want to go into that. So making tea. So you're obviously a tea snob. Right? You have to be a tea snob. So you're not like, walking into Starbucks and just being like, give me whatever you got. You probably are like, I want it at this temperature. I used to work with a woman in an organization. She was like, I want it at this temperature and this much foam for this many seconds. Are you that good yet?
So
I feel like you are.
I could definitely do that.
I feel like you could.
But sometimes when I go into places, I like to see how they make it. And so for me, it's more so when I drink stuff. I can taste the sugar. I can taste if they use fake sugar. I can taste the water quality. I can taste if they use filtered water. I can taste if they use water from the sink or just like dishwater. I can taste the powder if it was powdered tea. I can just drinking things now. I can taste. I'm like, yeah, I taste all this stuff. Sometimes now I'm okay. Yeah, if I know that's what I'm going into. So now I can go into places and I'm like, I know I'm not going to get quality. So therefore, it's okay. And most people don't have, quality or like the big name brand places. They don't have like the loose leaf that they might pour over or something like that, which is what I would consider like really high quality because they take a delicate approach to it. But I might slip up and make, say some things that sound a little bit snobby.
I bet. I can only
Like,
imagine.
like, oh, this tastes like this was made with powdered tea. You might hear me
Uh,
say, or this tastes like this was made with sink water.
oh no, not
You
sink
know,
water.
but you can tell once you start drinking, you
Sink
can
water.
tell that it's sink. You can tell the difference between when you drink a cup of tea with sink water or when you drink a cup of tea with like filtered water, or even if I'm really going to go all the way there, I prefer distilled water where it's just H2O. There's no chemicals, there's no magnesium, there's no anything, no sulfates or
Oh,
anything like that.
wow.
So yeah, if I make tea for you, I'm going to get distilled water generally, so that literally the only ingredients in the water is coming from the leaves.
I'm here for it. I'm here for
So
all of
that's
it.
my thing. But sometimes I know I don't always have that luxury. I just use whatever water I have.
Uh-huh.
So I'm not that picky sometimes.
Okay, okay.
Sometimes, but if I really want to make somebody a quality cup, I'm gonna go all out for you. I'm gonna get distilled water, and I'm only gonna use the 5 herbs in the tea bag, and maybe some honey. If we're gonna do sweet. So,
I'm here for that.
would you like a cup?
Oh,
What would you
I
like?
mean, I'll probably let's do that because I might as well. Might as well. So, as you pour this cup of tea, because you're doing such a phenomenal job here, and that's the berry holiday.
Mm-hmm.
As I enjoy this tea, I'm gonna blow it off. What is in your future when it comes to me and Jasper? So you sell these, or Jasper and Gold rather. So you sell these beautiful bags. Again, if I could say so myself, these beautiful bags of tea. And they are gigantimous bags, if I also say so. Like, I love how big they are because I was like, you get 10 bags for the price, but I was like, these are like gigantimous bags, and I definitely got more than one use.
Mm-hmm.
So you're selling these teas, you're doing the thing here in Durham, you are doing all sorts of pop-ups I've been to. You're just everywhere. So what are your future goals with the company and even when it comes to this tea?
So my goal right now is spreading awareness of what
Hmm.
tea and herbal infusions are, as well as getting. So I'm doing that by getting into locations. So
Okay.
I'm trying to get into as many local shops as possible because I do that one so that way I can offer. So that way you guys, so the business owners there, the small local businesses will be able to offer tea infusion that people and customers can't get anywhere.
Hmm.
So if you want Jasper and Gold, you'll have to either come to the website or you'll have to go to a local shop to get it. You won't just be
Exclusivity.
able, yeah, you won't just be able to get it right now from a McDonald's or what? No, sorry, from a
I mean,
Walmart.
McDonald's could carry it. They could be like, we got this Jasper and Go. Sweetie got meals.
Yeah, so some of these
All the
places like
people got
that.
meals.
So
Let's do it.
but that's more maybe down the line in the future. But I
Hmm.
do want to keep some type of exclusivity for local businesses just because I'm passionate about that.
Hmm.
So beyond that, eventually I want to have my own local shop. So that way you can actually come in, sit down, have tea freshly made for you by people who are trained to be able to make a proper cup of tea.
Hmm.
Loose, whether that be loose leaf or in a tea bag, you'll be able to order. You'll be able to have us mix up something for you that you may not have in the store that we probably haven't already created.
Hmm.
I want that option, and then from there, I want that to expand into local shops throughout North Carolina, throughout America, and then even throughout the rest of the world. Because, like I said, I want to give everybody the option to be able to have a proper cup, a blend that's quality, that actually tastes good, that they enjoy, that they can drink every day. I meet people online who are on the other side of the world, and they say like, we want your stuff, but of course, it's going to cost a lot for me to ship it all the way ship it overseas.
Hmm.
So eventually, I want to give people everywhere the option to be able to consume and drink Jasper and Gold, and really talk about an infusion as if they know what it is and have the knowledge of it. So not just in minor conversation, just like, oh, did you have Jasper Gold today, or would you like some infusion? Different things like that. I don't know how it might be worded. Or would you like some Jasper tea? People call it that sometimes. Um,
Mm.
so that's the ultimate big goal. But short term, right now, I am working on a project with another entrepreneur with where I will be in charge of the cafe there. So you'll be able to go in to the cafe here downtown Durham and actually see me or another worker and actually have a cup of Jasper and Gold right there made for you.
That would be amazing.
So there are locations that carry it. There are locations in Durham that serve it, but I feel like it's something else to when the owner of the business is able to serve it for you and
Most
create
deaf.
something for you. So, and then train people to be able to do the same thing that I've been doing. So,
Lovely. I did have one question I'm supposed to ask, and I almost forgot because I don't write down my interview questions. Safe spaces where you feel you can celebrate tea or anything botanically in blackness, where do you go? What places do you have where you can do that? So, for example, the previous episode, there was one of the previous episodes, I should say, there was the Cassava Trail Farm, which is a nonprofit, black founded, black run nonprofit in Northern Durham that is a safe space where I could go and be black as I need to be, and talk about plants all day, wax poetic about the plants. So, what say you?
so I'm trying to think of a way to combine the two.
Mm-hmm.
Places where I feel like I can be, because some of y'all, if you knew me, you would call me black, but still, even with that, where I can be black as a business owner, I
Mm-hmm.
want to say, and have my locks and look like me and still,
Be unapologetic.
yeah,
Yes.
in a professional business environment. I want to say Provident. I have to throw them a little bit of credit because I come here
Yeah. Yeah.
and the people that's running the space, they do. They are as we learned earlier, are
Mm-hmm.
black centered. So when they have events or when we do gatherings and stuff of that nature, they always have their black centered touch to it, and I don't
Mm-hmm.
feel like I have to say things a certain way or act a certain way or avoid certain things to just be myself. And
Mm.
actually, I feel like I'm encouraged to be myself here.
All right.
So along with that, from a herbal standpoint, I would say, hmm, that's almost when I do pop-ups.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and I don't want to, I don't know right now if I have a specific space, and I'll probably think of one as I continue. But every now and again, I'll have a pop-up event, and there will come somebody that knows about tea or knows enough about the information, and then we'll get into a conversation or an exchange, and it could last 15 to 20 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when I feel like, hey, this isn't something, because honestly, as you said, this is self-taught. Um, for many years, I was looking for somebody else who knew and was in the field, so that way I could say, like, am I even doing this right? So
Mm-hmm.
there was always that question: do I even know what I'm doing? Like, is this?
I
Am I
knew.
talking about the right information? All of
You
that.
knew. You know what you're
Um,
doing.
so at different pop-up events, every now and again, I run into somebody or somebody comes by, they try the pottery, they come to the table, and they have a cup or a little sample cup, and we ended up talking about everything. I listen to it, and in that space, I feel safe to be able to talk about herbs and spices and culture and how it brings people together and the dream, the vision, just different things like that. So generally, that's where I feel most comfortable from the plant side or the botany side of things. But I'm still looking for, I almost want to say that space, and I might end up having to create that space. I feel
Mm-hmm.
like as entrepreneurs, sometimes we have to create the opportunity for ourselves. So the space where I'm going to be running the cafe at, that might end up being the space where I'm going to talk tea as well as, and honestly just be myself. Because if I'm there, I'm not going to hold back being myself anymore. Because you can't, you're wasting time if you're not going to be yourself. Uh,
Mm.
so there's more benefit in being who you are authentically than being anybody else. Because being anybody else is a waste of time. So yeah, I want to say so. To answer, I'm still creating that space for both. I believe.
Okay. 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 Well, this tea, this berry holiday, was very good. I thoroughly enjoyed it. You are a great mixologist, if I do say so myself, an herbalist and a tea creator. With that, be sure to check out Matthias and Jasper and Gold. His website is going to be linked in the description. Any other information, his social medias will also be linked. Be sure to check him out on Instagram. He's doing some great things there. And if you are local to North Carolina and you're coming through Durham, be sure to check him out. If you're not local to North Carolina and you're in the United States, buy his stuff because it's good, delicious. Thank y'all so much. And be sure to like, share, and subscribe and stuff.